can be anything. Be kind. Be kind. You can be bozo, or you can be Michelangelo. You can be a Democrat, or you can be an acrobat. You can be a princess on a steeple, or one of her pretty people, in a world where you can be anything. Be kind. Be kind. Just be you, true blue. You can make old brand new. Do not misconstrue what you need to do. Be kind. Be kind. You can be Ricky, or you can be Lucy. You can be uptight, or you can be Lucy Goosey. You can be president, or you can be irrelevant. In a world where you can be a pawn or a king. In a world where you can be anything. Be kind. Be kind. Oh, be kind. Oh, be kind. Be kind. Be kind.
Oh, thank you, Jeb. I'm so jealous of his falsetto. Good morning, everyone. Happy picnic day. Does everybody know it's our picnic today? And guess where our picnic is? It's right here at Fellowship Hall. Oh, I'm so happy about that too. Well, we're going to start off with some music about gratitude. This one has some hand gestures, so if you know it, I challenge you to stand up and do the hand gestures. April's taught this to everybody. Gratitude surround me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude. Reverend Rick, what are you grateful for? You grateful for a working microphone?
I'm grateful for a working mic.
I'm grateful that I can multitask.
I'm grateful for this
Sorry, go on
community.
without me.
I'm grateful for these people who are here today. I'm grateful for those who are on the stream. Good morning. Grateful for you and you and you. And I'm grateful for the life that lives me. It's the life of God.
I'm grateful that Kathy Joe's here.
Grateful that Sharon's here.
Penny, what are you grateful?
Grateful to be here.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Amen. And I'm grateful for you, or I'd be like that Sunday 2 weeks ago where I just stood in this empty room and talked. That was tough. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I knew there was more than 2 or 3 of us here. Not a lot, but there's more than 2 or 3. It's been quite a couple of weeks in the world and in this church. We have people recovering from COVID. I see a few of them here, feeling strong enough to come. I've also heard from some people who are concerned now about going out. So wherever you are, it's good. We have masks if you prefer one. They're right at the door. If you're here for the first, is anybody here for the first time? Are you guys here for the first time? So maybe it's a good thing you come today. We're so not formal here. And sometimes we digress to silliness. And it's all good, because it's all God. I'm Reverend Rick Beatty. I'm the senior minister here, but there are a whole lot of ministering people here. And you're invited to stay for our picnic. Just come back to Fellowship Hall. And we're grateful for all of you. So we've acknowledged the first-timers here. If there's anyone connecting with us on the stream for the very first time, I would love to hear from you. I seldom get any, but every once in a while I get an email. Send it to Rick, R-I-C, at unityofroyaloak.org. And that's our website, is unityofroyaloak.org. You can find out about a whole lot of stuff that's going on here. We have a statement of being that we say it's probably the most powerful short prayer I know, because it really sums up what we're about in New Thought and what the New Thought movement, which includes unity, is about. So we say it together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And that, my friends, is the truth with a big capital T. Excuse me. No, I've tested and tested and tested. I still don't. Still good. Our picnic is today in Fellowship Hall. In case you didn't know, we moved the picnic from the park where we had planned to be in Berkeley because it's supposed to rain. So whether it'll rain or not, who knows? It's Michigan, right? We know it'll rain at some point. We just didn't want to be trying to take the picnic down and get over here in the rain. We have a new activity going on this Thursday night, the 15th. Kim, do you want to talk about that, or somebody want to talk about it?
Yes. We are having an open mic night, and for those of you who don't know, it's a thing where you can come and you can bring your instrument, you can sing, and you can play, or you're welcome to come and just listen to the music. We expect it'll be modestly attended because this is our first one, and this isn't like a coffee shop that normally has people hanging out in it, but it's $5 to get in. It includes a cup of coffee and some free entertainment, and if you have music that you want to share with everybody, we invite you to do so. It'll be a lot of fun. So Tom and Jeb are kind of hosting this thing, so come on out and support them. Oh, I'm sorry,
Tom and Harvey. Tom and Harvey.
Are hosting this thing, so come on out and support them, and
What time?
it's at 7 o'clock
7.
Thursday.
And sign up begins at 6:30. If you're going to be an act, come on down and sign up. I wonder if this is my opportunity to
This
debut
could be
singing.
Go for it. Go for it.
I will tweet that out. If Rick's here, I will tweet that out.
Kim is always threatening to get me to sing a song during service one of these days before
Bring your kazoo.
I carry it with me always. Okay. We have 3 new classes going on. April is doing a class on Tuesday nights, Zoom only, called Discovering Your Purpose. Even though it started last week, people can join for a night. They can join for a night. They can come in and out. The only reason that you would want to take all the classes if you're taking it for credit, and why do we, because I've got a class, I've got a book study, and Kathy Jo's got a class, I'm going to talk about those too. Here's what I remembered yesterday when I did my book study here in the morning, Saturdays from 10 till noon for 7 weeks, so one is gone 6 more weeks. We come together in many, many ways. There are many ways that gathering in small groups built this community from the time I came here in 2015 until now. Some of them are classes. Some of them, we used to have like this amazing spread after service because Debbie LaPucky was alive and cooked for us every single week. So we don't have that. We have cookies. Today we have more. It isn't about the class. It isn't about what we serve. It's about our coming together. It's about the power in gathering together. So April's class is on Zoom only. You can get the information on how to access that class on Tuesday nights on our website, unityofroyaloak.org. I'm doing a book study about mysticism and the mystical journey. We had a powerful discussion, 9 of us yesterday, an amazing discussion. I learned all kinds of things about people I didn't know. Some of them are here in the room. They also maybe learned some things about me. Because we can't get that intimate in the setting of this Sunday service. But we can get to know each other. When we get to know each other, amazing things happen. We become knitted together. It's a community. The word community literally means common unity. We're a unity church. Unity, our understanding of unity is because we believe there's only one presence and one power, not 2 or more. 1. So come to classes. Tomorrow night is grief and loss, correct? Mary Wackrow and Karen Ulatowski lead that. Starts at 7 o'clock. It's on Zoom. I'm going to be talking today about healing. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is healing from grief, healing from emotional and mental pain. We focus sometimes on physical stuff, but there's so much more to heal from. My class next Saturday will be, or CJ's class starts the 20th, so a week from Thursday. A week from Tuesday. It'll be on Zoom and in person.
Yep.
We do that in our Zoom room. She's talking about the trip to Bethlehem. It's a little early for Christmas, except if any of you go to Costco, they have had Christmas out for 2 weeks. Like, oh my goodness, really? It's not Halloween yet, let alone Thanksgiving. She's drawing it from a book called A Guide to Spiritual Transformation, based on a book by Hypatia Hasbrook. She was one of the preeminent teachers on prayer in our movement early on. So that'll be fun with Kathy Jo. That'll be in the afternoons from 1:30 to 3, because not everybody wants to come out on Saturday. and not everybody wants to come out in the evening, so that's a good one. And then I will mystical approach to a spiritual life, again next Saturday morning. It doesn't matter if you missed one. It doesn't matter if you have the book. Tandy and Angie, did it matter if you didn't read the book, do you think? No. We got to know each other. We got to work at becoming a community. And that's so much of what we have to be about right now. And not trying to be the community we were a year ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. Who are we now? How do we show up? So part of that is we get connected with each other. And Liz, our board member, but she's speaking today more in terms of her role as leader of a brand new ministry, come on up, called Community Engagement, something that she's dreaming up, and in looking to enroll others too. Liz Petrie, if you don't know, is a member of our board. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you. Let's use this microphone right there. Okay. Community engagement just isn't about reaching out into the community.
Talk into the microphone.
To let people know who we are, but it's also about us. There's so many of us that do things outside of the church that we'd like to cheer you on and support. Mary Wackrow does the Relay for Life. April Ellenberg, our youth minister, next weekend is doing her 20th year of the 3-day breast cancer walk in Chicago. Let's cheer her on. I'm going to encourage you all next Sunday to wear pink, and I'll send April pictures while she's walking to let her know we're thinking of her. Our next event.
Talk into the mic, Liz. It doesn't get you. They don't get you at home if you don't talk into it.
Our next community engagement event is going to be Monster Mash in Berkeley. It is on the 29th of October. It's from 2 to 6 p.m. It's kid-oriented. This is a Halloween event for kids and kids at heart, like me. And we'll be hosting a photo opportunity booth. And if you are creative, artsy, can manage a paintbrush better than I can, and you are good at painting ghosts and goblins, please see me after service. Thank you.
And your personal message?
Oh, yes. Speaking of gratitude, Kim, when I caught COVID from the event we had here, at least I think I caught it from here, those that reached out to me meant so much, your calls, your texts to check on how I was doing. It blew my mind. It was like, okay, these people, they are my tribe. Thank you.
Perfect. Good. And I would echo that, and I'm so grateful that you mentioned to wear pink, because as is my custom when April walks, I wear a pink shirt and a spangly pink hat. And April shared this with me in a text this morning. I want to share it with you. She said, this is regarding the 3-day next week. She's going to Chicago. I'm going to do youth ministry, the Zoom call for our kids, because I don't get to do it very often, and I love to do it. Anyway, she said, regarding the 3-day, this is my 20th anniversary participating in the 3-day. And she got involved because, among other things, the death of her mother. And so you see, sometimes taking some action, right action, and my 4th talk in this series is going to be about service, not just in this community, but how do we show up in the world? She shows up. She is approaching having raised $50,000 by walking 20 miles a day for 23 3-day weekends. This one coming up is her 23rd. She has walked 23, she will have walked 23 3-day walks in 20 years to raise almost 50 grand for breast cancer. She said, I currently have 4 close friends battling breast cancer, one of which is likely at the end of her life. I am also learning that I'm very close to the $50,000 goal. This is my 20th anniversary participating in the 3-day. Next Friday, day one of the 3-day, would have been my mother's 80th birthday. She was my original reason for walking. My list of names has grown so long since. So you don't have to walk. Throw April $10. Some of us have done that consistently. Whatever your cause is, come and have fun with kids. Whatever we do, you see, as a community, it's a whole lot more than what goes on here on Sunday. It's about how do we live the truth we know. And you've heard me say this, I'm going to say it again today. I'm not interested in your memorizing some pithy statement or affirmation or some statement of truth. It's great if you do that. It helps you. If it helps you, then do that. But my interest as your pastor is how you live out these principles, how you live this truth, how you apply it in your life. And our fifth unity principle, because we only have 5, our dogma is that we really just have 5 statements that we kind of loosely agree on. Our fifth principle is it's not enough to know the truth. We have to live the truth we know, to live it out. The master teacher called us to love each other. So anyway, that's my sermon before the sermon, okay?
How about a round of applause for April?
Yes. Always. And this hat, you'll see my hat next week. It's pink and spangly, and I have a story about the hat. Okay. It is time for Daily Word. And I share Daily Word. You know, Unity has published Daily Word for a long time. How many people have ever heard of Daily Word? It's a trick question. How many subscribe? Yeah. Lots of people. I have the digital edition on my phone. I get it every day. That's good for me. It's not good for everybody. Some people want one in their hands. They also make a large type edition for those of us. I may be ready for that. Fortunately, on my phone, I can make it bigger, right? For September the 11th, and we have not forgotten what happened this day. I've been thinking about it all morning. I was on my way to work. I remember every moment of that morning and the people who left this dimension abruptly that day. A day that's changed us still. Do you remember what it was like to fly before 9/11 and how different it is today? This pandemic has also changed us. It's another thing. We will not go back to what was before. We will find a new way forward. Anyway, the key word for today is remembrance. And the affirmation is, you live in my heart. Whether they have passed on recently or many years ago, the people for whom I have cared deeply are alive in my heart. If I feel sad or lonely for those I miss, I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made even ordinary days feel magical. Do you ever have somebody who could make any day be magical? For some of us, it's us. You make the day magical. Do you know that? Look at your neighbor and say, you make today magical. Oh, I saw that little love look over there. Redirecting, or reflecting, I can't read anymore, I guess. Reflecting on the love and joy we shared and the blessings their lives afforded me, I feel comforted. I am thankful that these memories will always be mine to treasure. I know that life does not end with death. Life is eternal, and my loved ones will always be beautiful, beloved expressions of spirit. I am grateful those who have passed from this life experience continue to live in spirit and are forever in my heart. And the Bible verse for today is from Psalms 112, verse 6. For the righteous will never be moved. They will be remembered forever. And of course, while I was in a very sappy mood this morning with all these things on my mind, and my talk is about healing, I have my old large screen TV, now that I have a larger one, is on the wall as a monitor in my office at home. And there's a picture of my mother and me together. And she's been gone a little over 8 years. It's like, and then I read this and okay, God, I get it. Here it is. So, we're all about prayer in a big way. Prayer time, there are prayer partners in the building with us. We have Mary Wackrow, we have Kathy Joe, we have Ruth. I don't know who's praying after service, but you get the two of them. So CJ and Ruth. And I saw Vernon come into the building. We're anchored in prayer. By the way, our prayer partners, if you missed the opening, our opening for the World Day of Prayer, it's up on our archives, both on Facebook and YouTube. Our prayer partners did an extraordinary job, really. They anchor this community in a consciousness of prayer constantly. If you get a hold from me and say, Rick, could you pray for blah, 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 I immediately text them. I don't reveal what your issue is unless you let me, unless you give me permission. But it's enough for us to pray, to hold it in consciousness. To hold the high watch, that was our theme. We're still doing it, holding the high watch. Holding it for this community, for each other, for our families, for the world. The condition in the Ukraine, the people in Great Britain, the United Kingdom who are grieving. They have a big change with Elizabeth's death. Their queen of 70 years. Things are always changing. So we have prayer partners. I'm going to begin a prayer. I'm going to pause in the middle. I will invite you to speak or hold in consciousness the persons, including yourself, places, things, circumstances, conditions that you are looking for prayer to be about. By the way, we have a prayer box down here. You can put a prayer in the prayer box. CG will be mailing these off on Tuesday to Silent Unity. You can send an email to prayer@unityofroyaloak.org. We print those off. Many of you sent those during the World Day of Prayer. Those are all in the prayer box. You can go directly to silentunity.org and submit your own prayer requests directly there in many ways. You can get a hold of us by email or by phone and ask to be on the wellness call list. And Mary will make sure that you get added to the list. I know that just went out. And our prayer partners make a weekly, or a monthly rather, not weekly, breathe, Mary, a monthly prayer call just to check in. And I love that time. I love that connection. And sometimes, prayer partners don't listen to this part, sometimes I don't answer when I know you're calling me for my prayer call, just so that they'll leave the message, because then I listen to it over and over and over again. I know others of you do that as well. Okay. All of that done. Blah, blah, blah. Rick, take a breath. We gather now as the community, as the church, the ecclesia, the gathering of souls. We gather in this sanctuary. We gather at home, wherever we are right now. We know, God, that you are with us, as us, in us, the life in us. And we know that this movement that we co-create called unity was founded in prayer. Founded in the healing of our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore. Founded in a consciousness of prayer that calls forth a process called healing. We know that it took Myrtle 2 years. Sometimes it's immediate, sometimes not. But we know that healing is always possible. And we now speak into this space, which is sacred, safe, and holy, our prayer intentions. If we had auditorium mics, you could hear the murmur of prayer, so I always wait till they're finished. And I hope that you had a chance to share your intention. Speak it out. Speak it from your heart. We take care about what we say. We believe that the spoken word and the thought word and feelings all have power. We take good care about what we say about ourselves and other people. For we know that every thought we think and every word we say is a prayer.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always
recall the first time that I heard that said to me, that every thought is a prayer, and I thought, oh, because I've thought some tough stuff over the years. But a thought becomes manifest as we repeatedly cloak it in what Mr. Fillmore, our co-founder, talked as, he called it divine substance. We would know it as energy. And so as whatever we think on over and over and over, speak about, live in, gossip about, share, that becomes our reality. That's one of our fundamental teachings, our third principle. And I'm going to invite you to join with me as together we say and pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I know that we haven't set the date yet, but Mary Wacker is going to do a talk on the Lord's Prayer, and I'm really looking forward to it, because it isn't about what we all think it's about. It's about something much deeper. All right. Talk about going deeper. This is the time for meditation. How many of you have a regular meditation practice? And don't lie. It doesn't matter to me. It's not, I don't judge. It took me years to start a meditation practice. In its simplest form, to meditate is to turn away from the outer and turn within. And probably the simplest form of meditation is the breath. So I invite you to bring your attention to your breathing. Just notice it. You don't have to alter its rhythm. Notice your breath. And notice that you are being breathed. There's nothing that any of us need to do to take the next breath. We just allow it to come right on time. And in the same way, there's nothing any of us can do to stop our breathing that isn't artificial. I invite you to allow your breath to be your teacher. Because like all things, it comes right on time. Never early and never late. Notice your body in space. Notice the support that is here for you. This environment. The place where you're seated or lying down. And scan your body. Are you carrying any tension with you? Any stress in the body? And in the moment you notice that you are, notice that it drains away. And I invite you to follow your next breath inward. Inside to the place where you consider to be the center of your very beingness. And give your mind something to do. Listen to the fans, listen to the piano. Notice your breath. allow yourself to enter into the space between thoughts. For in the center of you, you will encounter, it has many names, many words, the Christ, the I Am, the Atman, the Way, the Tao. Again, follow your next breath inward a little bit deeper. And notice how your body has begun to relax. For in meditation, as we encounter that presence in us, we encounter who we really are. And my dear friends, to quote Esther Hicks, each of us has within us the power that creates worlds. We could just recognize it and realize it. It's much like forgiveness. In a moment, the choir is going to come and sing a song that talks about forgiveness. The only one in the way is you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is, always. Amen.
God, I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you. Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Yes, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin. Dead man walking, slave to sin. I want to know about being born again. I need you. Yes, I need you. So take me to the riverside. Take me under, baptize. I need you. Oh God, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. I don't want to abuse His grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change.
Come on, choir.
I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Oh yeah, your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony to my ears, like holy water on my skin, like holy water on my skin. It's like holy water.
Your forgiveness, God, is mine to accept. For I know that you've never condemned me. I've done a good job of that myself. And that's the real sin, that I believed a lie that people told about me, that maybe my parents did, the religion of my past did. My understanding of what other people were thinking. My projecting onto them what I thought they were thinking. I'm open, God, to your grace, which is given freely. Your grace is my awareness of your presence in me, as me, in this moment. I know, God, that there is so much more to me than I have ever dared to explore. But I let that go. And in this moment, I am reborn. Again and again and again, I am reborn. In every moment that I choose. Your forgiveness, your grace, your friendship, your partnership, your place in me is like water that washes away everything that no longer serves me. It's like honey on my lips. Thank you, God.
I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change.
Come on, choir.
I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me want to change. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips, like the sound of a symphony in my ears, like holy water on my skin. Oh yeah, forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sound of a symphony in my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Oh, holy water on my skin. Oh, like holy water. Oh, on my skin.
Oh, yeah. Penny Wells, God bless you for being here today with us. the Royal Oak music team, amazing. We are blessed by music. That they said in a song what I'd take probably 2 hours to say. So this is the second week in a 4-part series of talks. Is it the second or third?
Second.
Second. Duh. I froze for a second. I think I'm missing a week. Last time I talked about let it begin with prayer. That's right, for World Day of Prayer. Let it begin in prayer. And I talked about prayer being the communion, prayer being living in the flow with the Spirit, prayer being aware in every moment of God's presence in us. And the privilege we have to be able to connect directly. We don't need anybody in the middle. No teacher, no mentor, no guru, no priest, no minister, nothing. Just you and God, which is your essence, which is the source of you and the source of us all. This week I want to talk about healing, because really prayer and healing are the two biggest foundational principles in unity. There's a couple of others I'm going to talk about, but these are the big ones. And I want to share with you first, there it is. Unity publishes the most amazing little booklets. And we have some back there, I think. Are they still back there, Mary? I think they're back there. There's some little booklets back there if you want to take one, take an affirmation, take them home, about prayer. This one is about In the Flow of Healing. It's Unity's newest booklet. If you're a member like some of us are of the Circle of Friends at Unity, you get them automatically. It's because I make a contribution each month to support the work of our village, the Unity Village, Unity World Headquarters. And I'm not making a pitch for you to do that. You'll do that if you want to. But I am going to order this booklet because I think it's important that we'll have this. And I want to read. You see, often when we think about healing, we've got physical healing, right? I mean, we've all had some healings. Many of us gotten over COVID. I've had illness in my life. I've had other things going on in my life. I had a broken leg long ago. I've had needs to be healed, had cuts. I've had to have sutures in several places. I worked in a machine shop for 31 years. You can't work in a machine shop and not get cut or drop something on your foot. But there's another kind of healing, in fact, many kinds of healing that we don't see the need for. And I'm talking about emotional healing and mental healing. I'm talking about that healing sometimes from a mind that doesn't seem to work the way we want it to. I'm talking about healing that comes, the need for healing that comes because we buy the lie that others have said about us. A lot of kinds of healing. This piece was written by Reverend Sandra Campbell. She is the chair of the Unity Urban Ministerial School and an associate minister at Unity Temple on the Plaza in Kansas City. And this is about healing emotional wounds. Wounds take time to heal. When detected, physical wounds can be healed through proper treatment. Emotional wounds are a whole different story. They may be hidden in plain sight. Symptoms often appear as depression, rage, anger, resentment, shame, guilt, blame, loneliness, or fear. I've not met anyone who has not felt wounded in some way. We're all dealing with some stuff because of this 2.5 years we've been living with this pandemic. I've listened to many counselors, many therapists, PhD type therapists talk about that we are all dealing at least with mild PTSD because of the duration that's gone on. It's made us, sometimes, some of us, hard to leave our houses at times. Just about the time we all took our masks off, then we're thinking, oh my goodness, I got to put it back on again. Anyway, continue with Sandra Campbell's words. When Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore was diagnosed with a terminal illness that doctors believed would take her life in 6 months, she discovered a way through prayer and meditation to begin healing herself from the inside out. Unity was born out of the healing. Some called it a miracle. I call it the application of spiritual principle over time. Mrs. Fillmore was diagnosed with consumption, tuberculosis. She'd had it a long time. She wasn't ready to go. She had three sons at that time, I think, and a husband. She wanted to live. She had a lot of reasons to live. It is a well-known story in Unity that she was inspired by a message from a speaker whose name was E.B. Weeks. He was trained at the Emma Curtis Hopkins School in Chicago. It was probably trained more New Thought ministers than any other. The beginnings of all three big branches of the New Thought movement came from that school. She was inspired by a message, and she came away with the idea, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. Say that with me. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. It is not part of my predestined, predefined being. My birthright is health. Your birthright is health. Stuff gets in the way at times. It can be physical, it can be mental or emotional. By recognizing her thoughts and beliefs were symptoms of the disease in her body, Myrtle began a 2-year journey to wholeness. It wasn't immediate. It didn't happen in the flash of a twinkling of an eye. Not every miracle does. Not every miracle does. She would sit in her sitting room. She had a chair for her, and she had another chair next to her. And Myrtle was a very Jesus-oriented person because she identified that was the physical representation of the Christ to her. And she would talk to her body, and she would talk to the chair. And she would apologize to her body for anything she had done to injure it, in any way she had mistreated herself, in any way that she hadn't been loving to herself. I remember the first time I heard these words, I was very humbled because I could think of a million ways that I had not been loving to myself. And part of it was to believe that I was less than. Part of it was to believe that I wasn't enough in some way. Sandra writes, I was in my 20s when I first learned about Unity and Myrtle's miraculous healing. Her story was a beacon of hope for me. I was in an abusive relationship, and I did not know what to do or what way to go. That same message that inspired Myrtle became a lifeline for my own mental and spiritual well-being. I believe that if that idea worked for Myrtle's physical healing, it would be worth trying as treatment to rid myself of negative thoughts and beliefs that had me stuck in a relationship that did not serve my highest good. How many of us have been stuck in a place that doesn't serve our highest good? Yeah. It can be a relationship. I had a cycle of them, a pattern of them, until one day I recognized it was like, oh my God, every partner I've had is like really needy, and they have the same issues. They're addicts or alcoholics. And my thinking, my magical thinking, was that if I loved you enough, I could solve that problem for you. We have a word for it. It's called codependence. Right? It took me a long time to break free of that. And I notice it. Every once in a while, it's like it's here on my shoulder, like whispering to me. At home, I have a doll that I sometimes sit on my shoulder. And then I whack it. If you all ever knew what's going on up in here thinking, this is the pastor we hired? I'm just saying. Sometimes I whack it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes I throw it to the dog to chew on. Because Murphy Lemon loves to chew on things. She does. I don't know what it is that you're looking to heal from. I have no idea. What I do know is that this is a place of healing. Healing can come in a class where you realize that you are accepted just as you are, as in every way, with your strengths and weaknesses. We all have them. I've learned to rely on the team that have come together that create this church more and more and more. I rely on them. Our licensed teachers, our leaders, the board. I want to share with you one of my very favorite Bible stories. Oh, and I'm going to go a little over, just so you know. Folks, hang on. The picnic will be there when we get there. I want to read to you from the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verses 2 through 9. Now in Jerusalem by the sheep gate there is a pool, called in Hebrew Bethsatha, or Bethsaida, which has 5 porticos. In these lay many ill, blind, lame, and paralyzed people. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. Anybody been stuck in some pattern for a long, long time? Take a deep breath. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" See, one of the things that I realized about my pattern of codependency is it had become my story. It was my identity. Had the master teacher appeared to me then and said, "Do you want to be made whole? And oh, by the way, you got to drop this story you've been telling yourself." Oh, I don't know. Oh. And I'm not saying that every illness has behind it a story, but I've noticed, and pastoral care is probably one of my strengths as a minister. It's easy for people to move into the story. They talk about their cancer, their illness, their disease. Well, we know that what we talk about, what we focus our attention on, we get more of. It isn't a punishment, it's the law. It's the way it works. It's the way the universe is designed. God is not a dude or a woman out there somewhere who's keeping score and saying, I think I'm going to punish Mary, but I'll reward Mary Ann. It isn't like that at all. We get to decide by where we focus ourselves. The ill man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. And while I'm making my way, someone else steps down ahead of me." You see, the legend was that the angel of the Lord would appear and stir up the waters of the pool, and the first one in got healed. So here's this guy, he can't walk. He can't get in the pool. That was his story. I can't get there. I can't get there. Jesus said to him, "Stand up, take your mat and walk." Didn't want to lay hands on him, didn't pray for him, just said stand up and walk. Stand up and claim your birthright. Stand up and be who you are. Now, not all healing is that simple. You see, the story, the power of a story is not if it's true or not. It's what it evokes in us. It's what it evokes in us. Bethesda in the story represents house of mercy, a place of healing. And the metaphysics of Bethesda is the point in consciousness where we feel the flow of the cleansing life of spirit. Where do you feel the flow of the cleansing life of spirit? Some of us caught a little bit today while we were singing, didn't we? Makes me want to dance. Some of us catch it in the stillness of the early morning. Some of us catch it looking at a newborn, a grandchild, a great-grandchild. Some of us catch it when we are face down in life and we have nowhere else to go. Often called hitting bottom. Anybody ever bottomed out in life? It can be drugs, alcohol, eating, sex, shopping, isolating. It has many names. all different faces of the same thing. You see, this pool or place in consciousness is formed by the realization that our life is being constantly purified. How does it get purified? It gets purified when we let go of the drama and the trauma. How do we do that? We replace the thought, the fearful thought, with an image or a thought that's less fearful. Some schools of thought, we stop swimming upstream and we start swimming downstream. Have you noticed how it's a lot easier to go downstream than upstream? I spent 30 years swimming upstream. Also with my career, you all know that about a year ago I hit rock bottom. I ran out of juice. I was going to retire. But in the admission of that it had happened, was the beginning of healing. The beginning of it. The 5 porches represent the 5 sense limitation. We're limited sometimes by our senses. The healing we seek comes from beyond what our senses can tell us. I don't know anyone has seen God, and I think that everyone has seen God. Look around you. You're seeing God. Kathy Jo, I'll never forget the first time I heard her say this. I thought I was going to split a gut. She, in the Course in Miracles class, not long after I started here in 2015, she referred to us all as godlings, and I thought about little fish jumping somewhere. But that's her way. We appear unlike God because through disobedience have believed the lie. We are not just like God, we are God in expression. Take a deep breath. I know a couple of you that caught, it was like a hook, like, oh, I can't believe he said that. What if the roof falls in? I remember the first time I thought that I was made and owned it, that I was made in the image and after the likeness of God. It was at the old unity of the infinite presence, and I was fairly certain that the ground would open up and swallow me whole. Well, as you can see, it hasn't happened. Not in almost 50 years. Emotional issues, a lot of them. Things we struggle with. I watched, I fell asleep very early last night, so of course I woke up very early this morning, and I put on PBS because I often do, and there was a special on about some folks who really struggle. Struggle because they don't have health care, so they don't go to the doctor. Struggle because they're afraid to go. There was an interview with a non-binary person who didn't feel like they could trust the medical system. All kinds of struggles going on, and this pandemic that's happening all around us, something we can't see that isn't killing so many people. Now, still a few, but killed a whole lot of people in the early couple of generations. So I don't know what you're healing from, but what I know is that whatever it is, it begins spiritually. It begins with knowing that you are a child of God. You are a reflection of that light, that love. It also begins with reaching out. If you're struggling with something, reach out to somebody. A healthcare provider, if you have one you can trust. Call a crisis line. Call Common Ground. Call someone. In my life, I have buried way too many people whose death was caused by suicide. And I've noticed that for some folks, this time has been really, really hard to deal with. So reach out to somebody. The state has phone numbers. There are some on our website under Coping with COVID. Some resources. Call me. I will connect you to some help. I have a list of places. Whatever if you need to go to the doctors, go to your doctors. And if you need health care and you can't afford it, if you're serious, they can't refuse you at the hospital. There's always a way, but you have to reach out. That begins by recognizing. Early on in the New Thought movement, people got, I call it toxic positivity. Oh no, it's nothing. It's nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. We laugh about it. But that toxic positivity doesn't serve anybody. And for a long time, it was like old-time metaphysicians would say, well, you can't be sick, you're a child of God. What are you believing that you shouldn't be believing? Today, I would slap the snot out of them. I call that metaphysical malpractice. To deny our feelings is, there's no energy, there's nothing in there to deny that we feel how we feel. In fact, everything I know about healing means that you have to embrace what you feel and move through it. We have an amazing grief and loss program here, meets twice a month. They meet tomorrow night on Zoom. Some people are really stuck in grief, grieving a lot of things. Things that didn't happen. Things that they wanted to happen. A past that's gone. A wedding that they didn't have the way they wanted to. Many, many, many things. The loss of friends, family. Reach out to somebody. Reach out, because you're worth it. Because you're amazing. Because you are created in the image and after the likeness of God. That's why I say if any of us could wake up to who and what we really are, it would blow our minds. And I'm hoping that today your mind is blown. God bless you.
Surprise us once again. Oh, 'cause we're all healing, healing, healing in the hands of time. We're all healing, healing, healing in the hands of time. 'Cause we're all we're all healing, healing, healing in the hands of time. Healing in the hands of time.
All right, you guys, thanks for making me cry. Penny Wells, Kim Lang, Jeb Bettis. Oh, yeah. That putting it in God's hands is really what it means to surrender something, to let it go, to trust someone. Trust someone. Don't let the day go by. If you need to reach out to somebody, I hope you do it today. The ushers are going to come forward to receive the offering. Grateful for the ways that they give of themselves, their service. Sharon's on our board, along with Liz and Carol and a couple of others, Jim, Diane. I think about the volunteers as we begin to rebuild this community and the ways that they give of themselves selflessly. The choir members, the musicians, amazing. There are lots of ways to give. You can place a check in the offering bag. Cash is good. If you want cash tracked, by the way, put it in an envelope, put your name on it. You can give through our website, unityofroyaloak.org. You can drop a check in the mail slot. We love that. And we love you. Let's say the blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And God, we open ourselves up to give and to receive. We give love, we give friendship, we give our affection, we give of our finances, we give of who we are, the very lives that we live, to co-create this community. And so it is. Amen. I think of our ministry teams who give, the prayer partners, outreach team, the ushers, the greeters, the kitchen team, all of them, each one of them, examples of giving and receiving. Pray with us. Gracious and loving God of all, we know that every good thing we have flows from the abundance of the universe, flows from you, God. It is our principal teaching that God, you are the source of all things, of everything we have. So we bless the gifts and the givers. We bless all the ways that people give to this community. We bless the food that awaits us in Fellowship Hall. We bless the friendship that heals us. And so it is always. Amen. Whatever you do this week, after you come and have some picnic lunch indoors, know that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. God is with you at home or here or wherever you are. God bless you. Make it an awesome week.
In this final moment, before we go our separate ways, let us take the time to stop and meet each other's gaze. Touch a shoulder gently, share a smile, and then bless each other with this prayer until we meet again. I wish you love, I wish you joy, I wish you strength when you are weary, courage to raise your voice. I wish you hope for a new day and true prosperity. But most of all, I wish you peace. I wish you peace in your travels, peace in all you do, peace in your heart, peace to see you through. Hope for a new day and true prosperity. But most of all, Have a great week, everybody.